Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of your favorite midday NFL show on the internet, Fourth and Forever. We have a couple of updates from some hold-ins that have been going across the league and many other stories, including preparation for preseason week 2. As you can see, Richie is currently at Jets training camp, making sure that he could observe and get as much news tidbits as possible. But luckily, we have our good friend Colby with us today. Colby, how's life, man? Talk to me.
Life's good, man. I mean, certainly can't complain. It's the busiest time of the year, man. That's what I like to say. It's the busiest time of the year, right before the start of the season, where you go from doing pretty much absolutely nothing in the offseason. It's like the dull period before training camp starts, to now everything's back. Football's back, preseason back, sponsors are back, all that good stuff on top of getting my sportscasting degree. So things are a little bit crazy right now, but I'm just happy to be back in the thick of it.
And I will tell you what, man, a lot of good things from the New England Patriots this past weekend. We will unpack that, my friend. As you know, me and TD have hopped on the bandwagon, maybe him more so than myself. TD, what's going on with you, man? How you doing?
Beautiful day. Excellent day. Football is here. We are back, like Kobe said. Kobe, did you finish?
Did I finish what?
School.
Oh, no, not yet. December's my final month. So.
Okay, so we come with, hey, this is the season, man. I heard you slide that in, a broadcasting degree. That's what's up, man. So, hey, man, take care of business. I can't wait for you to go ahead and finish that accomplishment in your life, because many more are coming. But, yeah, thank you so much for everybody tuning in. Fourth and Forever is here. Richie's at camp right now, if I'm not mistaken, watching a bad team practice. But we'll get into that later. Dan, let's get it, man. Let's have some fun.
Let's get it indeed. Folks, as everybody is piling in, there's about 90 of you in the live chat already, 71 on YouTube. We have 21 on X. We appreciate you tapping in with us on a regular basis. We are live Monday through Friday at 1:30 p.m. EST. And again, guys, if you ever want to be a part of the conversation, right? Gear or steer the conversation in one direction or the other, highly recommend you take advantage of our Patreon offering. If you sign up for Patreon, link is in description right now. You will have the ability to call in to each and every single Roundtable show with a statement and or a question. We structure it like a radio show. Highly recommend that you do that. That is the case for all of the divisional shows, Fourth and Forever, college football, Bills Roundtable, you name it, plus some exclusive content, a bonus episode of Fourth and Forever each and every single Saturday in which that it does drop. So go on ahead, definitely go check out Roundtable Sports Patreon premium offering and help us out. If not, just hit that thumbs up sign. Let's propel this out to the YouTube algorithm. Let's continue growing this very, very happy family. I do need to say something. We'll start off with the Buffalo Bills topic here. We won't spend too much time on it, but it does sound like our good friend James Cook has tapped off a very interesting era, might I say. He is no longer holding in, at least perceivably. Now, he started practicing in training camp, as many of us know, including padded practice. But then about 7 practices in, he decided to hold in based off of business, and that's verbatim from him. During the preseason game, we saw him working out with the 11-on-11s. All right. He did not participate in the actual game, but today was a full participant at practice. So it's easy for Buffalo Bills fans to speculate on this. Maybe Buffalo is close to an agreement. However, I'm kind of curious to see what y'all's thoughts are on what potentially could be going through his head. What exactly was the cause of this very weird saga, starting off as a full participant at minicamp and also training camp and holding out for about 4 to 5 practices? But then here he is, no questions asked. Colby, thoughts on this? What do you got?
Yeah, we'll still see how the story develops. One day is one day, but if he continues to do this, then it becomes a trend. And then we know it's on the right path. And honestly, it could just be a sign of good faith, right? Because sometimes when one person's petty and one person's petty, you can't fight petty with petty, right? Like at some point, you got to meet in the middle if you want something done. And I truly do believe that both the Buffalo Bills and James Cook, they all want the same end goal. They all want him to be a Buffalo Bill for the future. So I think this is a sign of good faith from him, showing that, look, I will return to practice, but you got to meet me in the middle. We got to start these negotiations up a little bit more. So I'm definitely going to follow the storyline a little bit closer. But I also think on the other side of things, it could be a situation where he says, look, whether I'm on the Buffalo Bills or not, I need to get back into football shape, because how I perform this upcoming season is going to determine the contract I get. I think a lot of times guys want these big contracts, so they'll hold out of practice or they'll hold out of a game, but they also don't realize that they're hurting themselves, because in doing so, now you're not playing football. So there's going to be questions for your current team, or whether, it's the next team that you get traded to, that they're going to wonder, okay, we haven't played football in a certain amount of time. How can we rely on the fact that you're going to be the same player that you were when it's been a significant amount of time since you've played football? So again, I think it's a sign of good faith, but we have to see how the story continues to unfold.
Indeed. You know what? And so I have to show some empathy toward running backs, because that's how the league looks at them, right? First 4 years of their rookie deals, and they are going to absolutely run them down to the ground with production and say that they can last those full 4 years. Likely what a team is going to do is slap the franchise tag on them once that year is over with. Good luck trying to get any sort of significant contract. So I understand where the league is going with. TD, thoughts? What explains this very weird James Cook saga? As Jets media, a member for 8 months, as Fourth and Forever, the #1 NFL show in the world. We love our fans over here.
I know
we love our fans over here. Jets media, Richie, #1 fan of Fourth and Forever. We appreciate that.
Block them,
We'll send you an autograph. Yeah, we'll send you an autograph a little later. TD, what's up?
No, the James Cook saga, man. I think he was just trying to stick up for himself, trying to, make something happen. But here's the deal. I did like when Josh Allen came out and said, we need this guy and those things. I got on him because I haven't heard from him in this whole thing, but he did come out and I saw that he did say that. So they know what it takes. I think they're still going to take care of him. Like Kobe said, I think this is a sign of good faith. And come on, man, take care of me. And I think something will get done before week 1. James Cook will get taken care of. And you never know. They could have told him, hey, man, we're going to take care of you, man. Just get here to camp. We'll figure this out. We'll maybe move the needle a little bit or something. But we shall see. It's just up to that front office and his team. Can they get it done? But he is at least being a team player.
Someone suggested this on X a bit earlier this week, and I did kind of want to confirm it with you guys. Since he is only getting paid game checks, somebody said, watch James Cook just play for the first 6 games of the 2025 season, because I guess according to that source, that would accrue a full season in the NFL, and then he would continue his holdout. Say that him and Buffalo do not agree. Is that true? As far as players that are on a game-by-game type contract or a game salary contract, is that true, TD?
What I do know, because I don't know if that's completely true, but what I do know is if you play that amount of games, you've considered to have played the season. And you know how, say you sit out and you don't play the season, they still have your rights for another year. But if you play those amount of games, you have considered to have played the season, and then you could sit out and they don't have your rights anymore. Like a year would have accrued. It does mean that 1 full year would accrue if you play a certain amount of games.
So if he's due $5.2 million and he plays 6 of those games, does that mean he still receives the full $5.2 million in game checks if he plays all 6?
Well, I think he will receive the full amount, because anybody who plays 6 games with an intention to not play anymore is going to start having back tightness and, injuries and, things like that. Nobody usually plays 6 games and say, all right, I ain't playing no more, I'm sitting out. Because otherwise they can void the whole contract, and that's insubordination, all that crazy stuff. But usually the Michael Parsons effect comes in, like right now. Does anybody believe Michael Parsons has back tightness?
No.
Zero.
Okay, so he will get paid his full 5.5, because there's things you can hide behind. All it takes is that 6th game, that last run. Oh, okay. We're up 35-7. So the trainer, come help me.
Does anyone believe that Michael Parsons has back tight?
But that also doesn't help him, though. I feel like if he does that, then there's going to be concerns. If it's the Buffalo Bills or it's another team, if he's out week 6 and then doesn't play the rest of the season, they're going to be like, well, now you're coming off of a pretty serious back injury, so why are we going to pay you as one of the top running backs in the league? That's another side of it.
Hey, bring me in for the workout. I'll show you why.
So are y'all familiar with USA Today's annual record prediction graphic? It's very popular amongst the NFL community. It happens each and every single year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking
about. And I thought that we should probably live react to it on this show. I haven't really dove deep into it, but I just so happened to reveal it on this episode of Fourth and Forever. This is what USA Today believes the NFL season is going to turn out as.
What's right? USA Today?
This is a major publication.
What's USA Today?
Tom Pelissero used to work for them.
Yeah, some sort of newspaper, etc.
They've fallen off. They've fallen off with this.
They're falling off, is what he's saying. Falling off is what. All right. Anyway, Colby, what are some of your instant reactions from this? It could be AFC East. It could be something that sticks out to you that you think they're a little off on. Go off. Let me know your thoughts.
So, believe it or not, my first thought here is looking at the Denver Broncos. It's okay if they have them winning the AFC West. I could see the Chiefs maybe not being as good as some people project them to be. The Denver Broncos are a team that with Bo Nix, they showed the potential with the offense, and that defense is easily going to be top 3. That defense is going to give the offense more opportunity. So I definitely think that they will get double-digit wins, but do I think they're going to win 12 games? I don't know about that. And from what I'm seeing, that would tie them for the second best record. The second best record in the league. I don't know. I mean, you're talking about the Eagles also being 12-5. Can we all agree that the Denver Broncos are not going to be as good as the Philadelphia Eagles? So that was my first takeaway. My other takeaway is that I actually like what they're doing with the AFC East here. I mean, the Bills at 13-4. I definitely could see that. Somewhere between 12 to 13 wins, I could see the Buffalo Bills getting. The Patriots at 8-9. I think the Patriots are going to win somewhere between 7 to 10 games. So 8 is in that sweet spot. I don't mind that. 7 for the Jets. Look, if Aaron Glenn really comes out, hits guns blazing, they're firing on all cylinders, they could certainly be a middle-of-the-pack team. Now, I'm thinking more 6 wins, but if they think 7, that's perfectly fine. I do think 5 is a little bit too low for the Miami Dolphins. I do still think the Dolphins ultimately finish 3, but other than that, I don't hate this. The one other thing I will say, though, is the 49ers at 11-6 also. I don't think that they are bouncing back based off of what they've done this past offseason. It feels like they're in this transition period to where the owner has put in so much assets dating back to like 2017 that they're kind of on a holdout to where they're saying, look, we're going to stop paying players this amount of money because we don't have a Lombardi to show for it. So they're kind of in this reset mode. So me personally, I don't have as much faith in the 49ers to be the 49ers we've seen for so many years. I don't think they're winning the division, and I certainly don't think they're going to be 11-6.
Don't think that they are going to be 11-6. So my first reaction and what I'll do is I will save the AFC East for TD because I know that he's ready to jump on this real fast. I think 10-7 for the Washington Commanders is a bit unbelievable. Whether or not that maybe it's their depth that is a concern to some of the writers over at USA Today. Maybe they're thinking that they will find some sort of injuries, but I feel like that they did improve over the offseason, especially if they are able to find a contract for Terry McLaurin. I have the Commanders winning the NFC East, largely due to the fact that for the past 10 years, there has not been a back-to-back champion in the NFC East. So I do see some things changing here. I'm fine with 2-15 for the Giants and the Saints. Like, those two teams are going to be battling for the first overall pick next year. Zero questions there. Bengals going 9-8 is probably the most factual thing on the face of the planet. All right. Like, we already know what's going to happen. It's the exact same team from last year. Maybe a little too high on the Arizona Cardinals. I'm actually okay with the Minnesota Vikings going 9-8. I don't get the Packers winning the NFC North, and I certainly don't get the Green Bay Packers, how they are going to represent the NFC in the playoffs. That I don't understand at all. So I suppose we can get into that because I do have a topic I did kind of want to save for the Green Bay Packers later on in the show. But when you have a transitioned wide receiver as your CB1 this year in Bo Melton, and you think that that is something that could be sustainable for the 2025 season, I'm kind of shocked. I'm probably still giving it to the Detroit Lions to walk away with that division by a couple of games. Those are my biggest gripes. I'd probably also give some of the teams in the NFC South a couple of more wins as well. Like 9-8, like 9, 8, and 7, as far as win totals for the top three teams is a bit much for me. TD, thoughts, some initial reactions. What are some things you hate and what are some things you love?
I mean, anybody who's going to make a list like this and have the Buffalo Bills 13-4 need to be tested. It's
the exact same schedule as last year, but okay.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. I'm talking about this year. I'm talking about this year. But,
Okay.
but here's the deal, man. To have the nerve to put the Jets above the Dolphins is insane. I understand why people are down on the Dolphins because we just always in bad news, but come on, man. Like, you act like we're just a complete saints of a team. You know, like the Dolphins still have Tua, still have Tyreek, still have Waddle. The O-line cumulatively, I believe, might actually be better than it was before. The running backs are looking good in camp. The defensive line is sharp. We're weak in the secondary. As far as the corners in the safety may have been upgraded, but 5 wins it's not happening. That's just ridiculous. Also, I don't like the Giants. I would actually give them 5 wins this year. I think that, Jackson Dart showed he can play the position and he can bring a better spark to that team, in my opinion. So as I get a Jackson Dart to Zach Pascal notification on my phone right whenever I say that. But yeah, I just think that this is kind of like showing your favorites and disrespecting the rest. Denver at the top of the division, I just don't see it. I would actually put the Chargers higher going forward. And Packers, that's a surprising one right there, taking over that division this year. I am not going to say that it can't happen.
No.
But that is a surprise right there. Outside of that, I kind of feel like everything else, with the exception of the Bengals, is kind of spot on. I think it's not a bad look across the board. I just would change that Bengals to about 11 wins as well. So yeah.
Okay.
And bring the Bills down to about 10 wins.
Okay.
Makes better sense.
So there it is. One last thing I'll say about this list right before we end up transitioning. I really don't think the Browns are going to be 3-14 bad this year. I really I'm not saying they win the AFC North, but I think 3-14, if that is truly their over under on most sports books, I think that's probably the easiest money all of us can make. That defense is still going to be scary. They still have a great pass rush. Did y'all see that animal out on the field during preseason week 1? And no, I'm not talking about Shador. In my opinion, I think Shador was the second best player out on the field for the Cleveland Browns this past weekend. And I got to tell you who was the first. His name is Carson Schweschinger, who ultimately is a tackling machine, led all of the FBS last year in tackles by itself. He is an absolute unit, pass rush, coverage, the entire 9. He was wreaking havoc out there. Dare I say, Luke Kuechly vibes I was getting from this prospect. And all he had was 13 snaps. And with those 13 snaps, 91.4 PFF grade, 6 tackles, 4 run stops, and 1 QB hit. The Cleveland Browns found a steal for the linebacker position. Colby, thoughts on Carson Schweschinger from your draft period from last year? Thoughts on his performance? Is he truly a steal for this Browns team?
Hey, man, shout out Draftaholics back in December, baby. We are right around the freaking corner, baby. But, hey, man, I remember when we were talking about him, and he was easily one of our top 3 linebackers in this class. He was easily a projected first. I don't think anybody had him falling to the second, and that was one of the biggest surprises from day one. I mean, he was one of the best available guys. I believe he was the first pick there on day 2 for the Cleveland Browns. So they made a great decision. They made a great decision. This is the type of guy that can be a number 1 linebacker for you. I expect him to be within the first couple of years of his young NFL career. I expect him to be a top 5 linebacker in the league. This is a guy that can really do it all. He's good in coverage. He can be a Mike linebacker for you. He can be the leader of your defense. He can stop the run. He can do everything. And when, Dan, you said Luke Kuechly, I think you're absolutely right. Now, that is his ceiling. That's obviously his ceiling. You know, that's not his floor. That's not maybe the realistic level on where he's at right now. But if everything hits correctly, what could he be? It's 100% Luke Kuechly. He can set the edge. He can get to the quarterback a little bit. So I thought he had a great performance. Now, obviously, it's the preseason. It's mostly against those backups. He's going to have a much, harder time when he has to go against starters. But I think you feel very confident about what you saw as he develops down the stretch. I mean, he's going to be in the conversation for Defensive Rookie of the Year. No doubt about that.
Carson Schweschinger, TD, was a 3-14 record prediction for the Cleveland Browns a bit off base for you?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. It depends on that front office and that coaching staff. Stefanski. I mean, are we gonna play politics here? What are we gonna do to start the season? Is old man Flacco coming out there to play? He can have good moments, but he could also have disastrous moments, which you saw the last few years. So it just depends on what they decide to do. I think that this team is going to struggle early because of the quarterback situation. And either they're going to give Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders an opportunity to be the starter at some point. And what happens at that point is what really matters. But I think that Shedeur or Dylan can provide a spark late in the season and help this team get 4 to 5 wins. But yeah, 3, I'm going to give them more than that because Flacco isn't going to have a 0% win percentage, but they are going to be losers. And then a young guy is going to come in by week 10 or 11 and have about 6 games left, and they're going to win 2 or 3 of them. And I think that'll put them at about 4 or 5 or 6 wins. So, yeah, I don't think 3, though.
So I look at the Cleveland Browns, man, and they are always so competitive within their own division, right? Like they are built to compete. I would not be shocked if they split with every team in the AFC North this year. It's just how they're built defensively.
It's bold.
I feel like we're all still wondering on like what the quarterback situation is going to be, but we have to remember, say that it was Joe Flacco. He did very well in Stefanski's system. I'm telling you this right now. Their floor to me is 6. Ceiling is 9. Far, far exceeding 3 wins this year.
You said ceiling is 9?
Yeah, ceiling is 9. Floor is 6 to me. Yeah, floor is 6 to me for this squad. And hey, I mean, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe they'll even do a little bit better than that. But I got to tell you what, I feel like a lot of us were impressed with rookie Jackson Dart. All right. During his preseason matchup against the Buffalo Bills, he did pretty well. And then as TD just alluded to, he just ended up getting an update, all right, from Jackson Dart while they are in the middle of joint practice with the New York Jets. And Dart ends up tossing an absolute dart right over to 83 for the touchdown. Who is on coverage right there, Richie? Who's 29? Someone look up 29 on the
29 for the Jets.
29 on the Jets. Who is that, man? Who is that, Richie? We know you're listening. Jarek Bernard Converse. All right. We have no idea who that is. That is a Madden-generated player. He is not real. But, all right. Look, I want to talk about Jackson Dart. Based off of his first performance, do we think that Brian Dable at one point is going to give the nod to Jackson Dart to take over the QB1 position at any point during the season? He's already announced Russell Wilson. I'm curious to see if we will see any Dart at all, and if so, when. TD, thoughts?
Yeah, by week 10, 11, same thing as the Brown situation. I mean, Russell Wilson, all he got is sky balls right now, floating them up and hoping somebody can go get him. I don't think I think Russell Wilson is done as a pro. Yeah, he can still play the position and make a few throws here and there, but there's nothing electric about his game anymore. Nothing explosive about his game. Nothing that's gonna jump out, off the page and say wow. So that team will struggle because they don't have good, great, elite play at the position. So they're going to have to eventually go with their rookie when they realize, hey, we're not making the playoffs. It's time to give our rookie some shake, to give him a look and see if he can make something happen. So same situation as the Browns, week 10, 11, somewhere around there, they'll get a fresh new rejuvenation from the fan base. Oh, let's see about our future. Can Dart do it? That's all it is.
And so what do you got on that, Colby? So you and I saw him in person at the Senior Bowl. Right?
We did.
Like, we did interview him as well. Like, he told Richie to watch the tape. All right.
He did, man.
Colby, thought, will the Giants ultimately end up starting Jackson Dart at any point during the season?
Man, I'll never forget the final day we were there too. It was me and Dose of Dion, our Detroit Lions creator. And Dart is just standing there. Me and Dose are like, is something going on? Like, can we really just walk up to him, get this interview right now? And I'm like about to go and just tap on his shoulder and be like, yo, man, can I get an interview? Then I realized there's a whole filming crew because he's talking to a kid. So Roundtable Sports was almost on the map, but not for the right reasons. But man, look, let me tell you, I did not think that Jackson Dart was going to be this good early on. I had my reservations, and Richie really liked him. And that's how I knew. I was like, well, if Richie wants him on the Jets, there might be something here that we should push back on here for a minute. But I thought that he was a little sporadic with the ball at times. Thought he had inconsistencies. But my biggest concern with Jackson Dart going into the draft was more so my concerns with his maturity level. I thought that he was going to be more of a Zach Wilson. There were all these rumors about him cheating on his girlfriend and so many other things coming out of the media where I was like, is he really ready to be a quarterback in the NFL? But so far from what we've seen, he's done exactly that. He's been smart. He's been really, really accurate with the football. He's kept his head down. He's just learned from these veterans between Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. So I think that sooner rather than later, you do have to start Jackson Dart. You also use your first round pick on him, so you don't have that luxury to just not play him at all, right? He's not like a second or third round quarterback. You use that asset on him. You want him to develop at some point. So there's no doubt that he will start at some point this season. The question is going to be when. And personally, I think that it is going to be week 6, okay? Jameis Winston, he is the ultimate gunslinger, but he turns the ball over so much that he'll go for 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, but 5 interceptions. You can't win with that. And Russell Wilson has hopped from team to team to team because he's not consistent. I don't think he's good enough. I think Jackson Dart gives you enough to where you sit him for the first month. You allow him to acclimate a little bit. You don't put him in a situation he's not ready for. But I think the biggest thing here is that at some point, that front office for New York is going to hear it from the players. And if Jackson Dart is really the best quarterback on the roster, you are going to hear it from the players themselves that they want Jackson Dart to start for them because these players are out there putting their bodies on the line, right? They want to win football games. And if Jackson Dart gives them the best chance at winning football games and they start off the first 5-6 games rough and they only have maybe 1 or 2 games won under their belt, then there's going to be push from the fan base. There's going to be push from the players within the organization to get Jackson Dart under center.
My God. And look at this play, for example. All right, let's go on ahead. And this comes from the All 22. And shout out to my boy Samuel for showing us with that workaround on Slack earlier. Like, dude, all game, right against Buffalo was demonstrating that, like, he's got balls of steel, man. Like, we had pressure in that man's face all game. He did not back down. He was cool as a damn cucumber and ended up making all of his throws. He goes through his progressions. He's not bailing on the pocket way too early. Very encouraging. Say that I was a Giants fan already. We have NFL Refs fan coming in saying, I am going to Jets Pats at Gillette this year. Is it true you can't do a Gillette event because Dan has a severe allergy to the 6 Super Bowl banners? Yes, I do.
True.
It is bad. I blow up like a balloon every single time that the Patriots are even mentioned. All right.
It's pretty bad.
We have Tony coming in saying, back for Bob and TD. We are sweeping you. We missed you, Tony. We missed you.
You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? Richie yesterday talking about who's doing that. You see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The delusion of Jets fans to even insist that y'all can sweep the Dolphins. Stop.
Oh, my God, dude. All right. And TD, you haven't won a playoff game since 2000. Tom Brady's 7 rings. He's coming on in. He's trying to bring you back to reality, my friend.
It might change this year.
Hey, listen, you know what? I will never scorn a man for trying to have hope in his organization. Having hope, there's nothing wrong with that. All right. Sometimes let us all just be happy in our own delusion from the beginning. All right. Let's talk a little bit about our good friends, the Green Bay Packers. All right. Quarterback Jordan Love is undergoing a procedure on his left thumb, but should be ready for week 1. He hurt his thumb hitting a helmet in Monday's practice. So it sounds like so the status of the Green Bay Packers QB1 is up in the air. And I got to tell you, especially since we just saw from USA Today that they are the Super Bowl favorites or the team to represent in the NFC for the Super Bowl this year, is this hype deserved? Because I got to tell you, so I look at their wide receiving room. Yes, I'm optimistic with Matthew Golden. He could be a guy, but remember, he's a rookie. It's going to take a little bit of time. Like we saw what Malik Neighbors had to do last year. Yes, he had a great season, but again, he was a rookie. He couldn't possibly do enough to actually elevate them over the Lions of the world. Same thing with Marvin Harrison Jr., same exact thing with Brian Thomas Jr., all 3 incredible seasons. But can Matthew Golden really make this team take the next step? A lot of concerns in the secondary with Jair Alexander being gone. They literally switched the wide receiver over to quarterback, and he is one of the top ones on their depth chart. How high are we on the Green Bay Packers this year? Do they have a snowball's chance in hell at being able to dethrone the Detroit Lions? I'm going to go to TD on this one.
I'm actually shocked at the just recent quick elevation of the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, they added some help with the weaponry. Tried to, but at the end of the day, the Lions run that division right now until they don't. I don't see the major changes that the Lions had. And then on top of it, don't forget, they're more healthy now. Last year, the Lions dealt with the most injuries in the entire NFL. And to come into this season knowing that they'll have a much healthier roster, and just to elevate Green Bay above them for some people or suggest that they can win a division, it's a wait and see. You got to wait and see that, because Jordan Love, albeit good talent, he got to get over the hump. You know, I think he has a playoff win under his belt or 2, but he still got to get over the next hump. And until he can do that, I'm still going with Dan Campbell-led Lions. And don't sleep on Minnesota as well. You know, the not rookie, well, sophomore, but you might as well say rookie. Hey, he can come in and continue to light it up as well. So this is just a great division. So, but I just don't understand the quick elevation of everybody having Green Bay as the immediate favorite. I think that might just be a little bit aggressive.
It's definitely tough for me as well. You see a team draft a wide receiver for the first time in like 25 years, and you start to get a little crazy. What do you got on that, Colby? Is the hype attached to the Green Bay Packers a little too much?
Yeah, I'm going to answer the second part of that question first, and that being, can they dethrone the Detroit Lions, right? Should the Detroit Lions still be the number 1 favorite in that division? And I think early on they should still be the favorite, but I don't think that we should all expect the Detroit Lions to now win. I mean, look, we saw what they looked like in the preseason. They don't look like the same team, and I'm sure they'll iron it out as the season goes along, but I could see the Detroit Lions struggling a little bit early on. Let's keep in mind, they lost 2 major coaches this offseason. They lost their offensive coordinator, they lost their defensive coordinator, and that can have a massive impact on a team. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles. When they lost the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs, they lost multiple coaches on that staff, and then it prohibited them the following season. They fell off down the stretch. They didn't win a playoff game, and they had to rebuild in that offseason to go out and win the Super Bowl this past season. So I could see the same thing happening for Detroit, them taking a little bit of a step back. They also didn't win a postseason game. They were very, very disappointing. As for the Green Bay Packers, they kind of remind me, I don't know if this is just me, but they kind of remind me of Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They have the offense that has the firepower to put up 30, maybe even 40 points in a game. but that defense is so suspect that you don't trust them. And I think that's why you have to bring down the win total a little bit. I think that's why them winning the division is more unrealistic, is because, yes, they have Jordan Love, who went healthy, is dominant. They have a wide receiver now in Matthew Golden that has the speed on the outside that can work in those contested catch situations. They finally have a wide receiver that can complement the other guys on this roster. They got Josh Jacobs in the backfield that can be a 1,400-yard guy on the ground when need be, but you don't have the defense to go along with it. And it's not realistic to ask your offense to put up 30, 40 points every single game in order for you to win. That is the same issue we saw with the Bengals this past season, and with quite literally no secondary there for the Green Bay Packers. I think that's what's going to hold them back. It's going to be their defense. It's not going to be their offense. I think their offense is easily, without a doubt, going to be top 10 in scoring. But when we look back on it and we say, why did the Green Bay Packers not go farther? It's going to be because of the defense.
It's going to be because of the defense. And I got to tell you what, boys, I did pull up their schedule. And so I got to say it's tough, I would say, for the first 5 games, right? Like, have the Lions in Green Bay, which I suppose is helpful, followed by the Commanders at home, back-to-back home games. Holy hell, here we go. Then the Browns, which probably should be a win for them, but followed by the Cowboys and then the Cincinnati Bengals. I have a feeling that them winning this division is going to be determined by this first 5-game stretch. If, for example, they go, say that they drop 2 games, then I think that it's likely over for them. Because let's compare that to the Lions schedule. We can compare that to them, right? So they have the Packers, they have the Bears, Ravens is pretty tough. You have the Browns, you have the Bengals. So I suppose the NFC North is going to have their division champion, for the most part, at least heavily favored by week 6, because it does appear like both the Lions and the Packers have quite a challenge at the beginning of said season. And do you guys have any further comments on this?
This is brutal. Can you scroll back up a little bit?
Scroll back up. So
Okay,
this is the Lions schedule. We can get back to the Green Bay Packers schedule right here. Lions, Packers, Commanders, Browns, Cowboys, and the Bengals.
Keep going, please.
The Lions will cook them. The Eagles will cook them. The Vikings will cook them. The Bears, I think, will win that game because of their wide receiver core. As long as Caleb Williams can be smart with the football.
Like, that's
a tough schedule.
Yeah, like that secondary is really a problem over in Green Bay.
Yeah, when they play teams with a good wide receiver core, they're cooked.
Yeah, I feel like it's such a tough schedule that if they won 11 games, they're a good team still.
Oh, yeah.
Like a really good team.
Dare I say 10?
Yeah.
It's either they won damn 10 games. And so
at least
I feel like
that's the schedule where you're going to be tested.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I'll tell you what. How about some Patriots breaking news? Okay.
Ooh.
Patriots rookie offensive tackle Will Campbell has taken virtually every rep at left tackle. And the team loves what they have seen, despite some questioning if he'll be a left tackle in the NFL. He has delivered exactly as expected. One team source raved his football IQ is through the roof. Did you have an opportunity to break down the tape on Will Campbell from this previous weekend, Colby? And what are your thoughts on this? Because that was a massive narrative attached to this young man's name going into the draft period already. What do you think? Is he going to defy all odds, even with his T-Rex arms, that he is going to be a left tackle, or do you still think he's better suited on the interior side of the offensive line? Talk to me.
Yeah, look, I did get to break down the film a little bit, and he played 8 total snaps for the Patriots in the preseason. I also want to say, look, it's just the first preseason game. He only played 8 snaps. There is a long way to go, but he picked up exactly where he left off. If it wasn't for Will Campbell making that play, Drake May has nowhere to go. So I thought with what he did in the running game, what he did in the passing game, creating an opportunity for Drake May, he looked really, really good. In overall PFF grade of 85.4. That was the highest among rookie offensive tackles in the first preseason game, allowed 0 pressures also. And Dietrich Wise, okay? Dietrich Wise of the Washington Commanders during joint practice was asked about going up against Will Campbell. And Dietrich Wise has some of the best length out of all defensive linemen in the entire league. And he said that arm length does not matter. As a veteran defensive lineman in the league, he said arm length doesn't matter as someone who's playing in the trenches, O-line or D-line. He said what matters most is mechanics. And Will Campbell had the best mechanics out of all offensive tackles in this class. One of the best offensive linemen in this class in terms of mechanics. And not just that, but that football IQ, something that I've been raving about for so long, and he's finally getting credit for that exact same thing. What I like about Will Campbell is that he said this himself, that Josh McDaniels preaches that it's okay to make a mistake as long as you learn from it and don't make that mistake again. And Will Campbell saying just last week, and I quote, that he is figuring out what is working for him at the NFL level, saying that the league is very different in the NFL compared to the league of college football. There's things you can do here that you couldn't do in college football. So it's finding out for him what works and what doesn't. But because of that high football IQ and his pure mechanics, I believe that he is going to be a very good tackle for the New England Patriots. And it looks like we had Dan leave. What did you think about that, TD? Just based off of the film you saw him in the run game, you saw him in the pass game. What did you think about the work you saw from Will Campbell over on the left side?
Yeah, here's what I will say. If he can maul like that and he can play like that on a in the regular season against, ones. I don't know if you guys were playing against the other team's ones.
A couple of them.
A few of them. But was he going up against a one? In a lot of those situations, that's what you want to see, and that's what we'll find out this week. Yeah, that's what we want to find out this week. Can you have that same aggressive, nature? Can you bully the person in front of you this week when most teams actually play their starters? But you got a guy. I mean, who are we kidding? You got a guy who's going to have a good career, in my opinion, and that can really work wonders for Drake May in the New England Patriots. I just think that this year, just overall for the Patriots, you got to run the ball well. You got to play good defense as Drake May's figuring out how to become better and better. But this was a huge addition for the Patriots to go ahead and make sure they try to solidify the O-line. So we'll see how it goes as Dan got internet back. So, I don't know.
So your fire takes, bro, just fried my Ethernet. Like, that's what it was.
That breakdown.
Like, look, I haven't even heard TD's thoughts on this, but the clips we were just showing on screen, I'm bought in, bro. There's something in the damn water down in them Louisiana boys. Let me tell you what. Dude,
he's got
quality,
that dog in him.
Quality thing, man. I am a big Will Campbell supporter. TD, what were your thoughts on that? Maybe you touched on it. Yeah, I don't know. What do you got?
Yeah, I had just finished my thoughts when you came in, but yeah, I think he's going to be.
You know what? Maybe I'll just watch the replay. Yeah, exactly.
The real test for him, Dan, is this week because the Patriots have 2 days of joint practice this week with the Vikings and then a preseason game at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Brian Flores made this one of the best defensive lines and defenses in general in 2024. So with that being said, Will Campbell is going to have a true test this week. And that's going to be our first real look on, okay, what is he going to look like against actual NFL starters?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm actually really curious because there's one thing I have no idea.
Dan's screwing it up.
Help me out here, Colby. What did I do to this? What did I do to this overall everything? Guys, as we are figuring all of this out, please do us a favor. Smash that like button, all right? Because currently we have about 195 of you on YouTube, which is incredible, all right? We love that all of you guys end up rocking with us on a weekly basis. What I want, Colby, is for us to get the screen share view because I got to show something that's really been on my mind as of late. Look at that, guys. Smash that like button as you are coming in, guys, and let us know what team you are currently representing in the chat. See what I'm saying? What in the world? What in the world happened here? Good God.
Got to be one of these, my friends.
It's got to be one of them. This one?
The boxes are a little off. There we go.
Oh,
there we go.
There we go.
Oh, shit. Hold up.
Style. Hold up.
There we go.
There we go. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. Guys, listen. So I got to tell you what, all of this football talk is getting me excited about fantasy football season. And let me tell you what, I am getting sick of getting beat out by people that quite frankly don't know ball, right? Like I know ball and I should have all the hardware in the world when it comes into fantasy football. So this year I am pulling 0 punches back. I ultimately ended up signing up for RotoWire. And let me tell you how this has changed my entire fantasy football strategy going into the 2025 season. Once you end up starting a mock draft over here, and by the way, you can actually sync this with your own fantasy league. It can hold your hand during your fantasy football draft and let you know everything that you need to know. You can build out your own custom strategy here. Say, for example, it's 12 team. We have PPR on the books. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new draft plan. For early rounds, what I want is a balanced approach. Middle rounds, I want aim for upside. And late rounds, I want aim for upside. I'm swinging for the fences over here. Same thing with reaching for a player. I'm probably going to keep it balanced right across the board, all right? I'm running an organization, and we have to remain consistent. And this is the thing right here. What is important to me for my fantasy football draft? I'm going to tell you one thing that a lot of people sleep on. Offensive line quality. That is now number 3 as far as what I am looking for. I'm probably going to put injury risk at number 2 and the overall strength of schedule. You can prioritize exactly how you want this system to draft for you. Go on ahead and hit
injury risk.
Have injury risk and everything like that, man. It will pop up red flags if, for example, you're hovering over a specific player. If you guys want to roll the dice on Christian McCaffrey in 2025, it'll probably let you know that that's a risky move. Add the players that you need to walk away with regardless, and then add the players that you would like to avoid. And then once you end up getting in your final draft plan, it brings you to the mock draft simulator, and it also brings you into your actual draft once that day comes. Obviously, bar none, the number 1 pick overall is going to be Jamar Chase in many leagues thus far. But once you end up getting to your next pick, you can scroll down, and it tells you best available by position, likely gone by your next pick. Maybe you were targeting and hoping that you could walk away with Jaden Daniels in the 3rd round, because that's when I think any reasonable fantasy football player is going to draft a quarterback at that point. But RotoWire is telling me that there's a 97% chance that he is going to be gone. So if Jaden Daniels is truly who your target is, might as well make the reach now. Highest upside player per position, safest players to go with, best rookies available. This breaks down more than you have ever seen in your entire life. How about knowing what if Jonathan Taylor goes down? Who's next in the depth chart? Tyler Goodson, you have DJ Giddens. I have no idea who the hell these guys are, but it doesn't matter because you do. Because you need to know everything that happens within your own fantasy football program. Guys, go sign up for RotoWire. Link is in description. You will get 15% off the second that you do, as long as you use code RTS upon signing. And once you win your fantasy football league, you can thank all of us later. Shout out to RotoWire for being a proud sponsor of today's channel. Dang.
That is crazy, man. I got to look at Tua's injury probabilities.
It's not good.
You think? Oh man,
not good, my friend. That much I can tell you. Where's the Colby one? Is Colby right?
I got you.
There
we go. You got it.
There he is. There is indeed our good friend Colby. But folks, I think that's going to have to do it for another edition of your favorite midday NFL show on the internet. 4th and forever. Preseason week 2 is upon us. Storylines are floating all over the place. So do us a favor, subscribe and turn on bell notifications. We are live Monday through Friday at 1:30 p.m. EST. Today is Tuesday, our very busy day when it comes into all of the divisional roundtable. So if you are a fan of a random team in the live chat, we have a show for you. For example, we have Colby hosting the AFC West and NFC South show this evening. We have the AFC South, we have the NFC West all running today. And plus the NFC East. Look at that, folks. We're all over the place. Make sure that if, for example, you want to call into any of these shows, treat it like a radio station. Go on ahead and sign up for our Patreon. $10 for each and every single month. Literally the price of 1.5 Dunkin' Donut runs. Helps us out a lot, and you get quite a few cool benefits. TD, what would you like to say to the audience before we send them off?
Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, Fourth and Forever is here forever, right? For some reason, I'm having some technical difficulties. I can't even see y'all right now, Dan. But
oh wow.
But thank you everybody for coming through. We appreciate you all. We will see you tomorrow. We'll have more on training camp news and everything going on around the league, and also some updates on some of these injuries as well. So thank y'all for tuning in. Hit the like button and let others know that we're live Monday through Friday, 1:30 p.m.
What do you got, Colby?
Hey, man, make sure you guys tune into the AFC East Roundtable tomorrow because, boy, oh, boy, I think there's going to be some heated debates to get into. I might have to go in on Jets fans there a little bit. I see some Jets fans going off in the chat a little bit, and I'm not understanding the hypocrisy a little bit. So I think tomorrow's episode is going to be pretty good, guys. So make sure you tune in.
It's going to be a solid one indeed. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Fourth and Forever, folks. Brought to you by Roundtable Sports, real coverage from real fans. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Deuces.
Peace.